Hey there, welcome back to Coding at Home with the Code Hub. Hi, I'm Matt with the Code Hub, and we're going to talk to you through some augmented reality today. We are going to do a little hands-on exercise. So you're going to have to grab your iPad, grab Reality Composer from the App Store, and grab a book that's nearby, because we're going to be compositing our scene on top of the book cover. All right, so let's get you started. Without further ado, we'll jump over to the iPad and we will start things off. So here we go. All right, so we've been playing around with Reality Composer for the last couple of days. We did an exercise yesterday where we had a keynote presentation that we designed a few icons for, and then we printed them out, and we were able to wave our iPad around in Reality Composer, detect those images, and then pop up little signs. Like we popped up the Welcome to English Comp 201 over the book picture and everything. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to take a book that you might have handy instead of asking you to print something out, and we're going to use an image of that book cover to determine where our image anchor is going to show up. So let's start off with, we'll be going into Reality Composer in a second, but we have a couple ways of capturing this image. So if we turn on the camera here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this book here, Douglas Adams's Ultimate Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. There are a couple of ways we can get the image of this cover in so that we can use it in Reality Composer. The first is just to open up the camera app on your iPad, position it roughly in the frame. Doesn't have to be exact. I'll try to take a picture right over the top of it. I'll take my picture, and then what I'll do is I'll tap on the photo over here to bring it up, because I'm just going to edit this so that I crop out some of the noise around it. So I'm going to hit the edit button. It's going to load the photo for me. Now, if I were smart, I would have turned off live photo, so I didn't get a moving picture of this, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to edit it anyway. So I'm going to hit the crop button over here. And now, just like we saw the other day, we now have these little handles that we can drag in. Try not to drag the image itself, to just grab the cover, to make sure we're focused on just the cover of this book. Now, I might want to use just the green guy in the middle, because that's a fairly distinct image. I don't have a lot around it that'll differentiate it from the surroundings, though. So I'll take the whole cover. Now I'm going to hit done. So it's going to save that photo for me. Now, for Reality Composer on the iPad to use this photo, we need to save it to file somewhere. So I'm going to tap on the image again once. I'm going to use the share button. And I'm going to go down in my sharing pane. I'm going to choose Save to Files. Now let's call this, we'll call this Live Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And what I'm going to do is I'll just save this on my desktop. Okay, cool. So that's one way of taking the image. Now, if you hadn't had a book ready, I hope this is giving you time to go grab a book from the shelf. Because the other way to take a picture of your book cover and get it onto your iPad, my son actually showed me this one. I didn't know about this trick. But if you tap and hold on Notes, I get a contextual menu pop up, and I can say Scan Document. And the really nice feature of this is that we'll position the document in view. It actually does some of the detecting for us. I'll move this image out of the way, or this cable out of the way. Maybe I need to stand up to get a better view. You can see it's trying to detect the page for me. Maybe what we'll do with this one is we'll get the back cover. There we go. So if I hit the photo button, I'll now have taken a picture of the back cover. So maybe you want to do that as well. I can say keep scan. And if I tap on that, I can see that it's a really nice, it's just restricted to the back page of the book that the notes application was able to detect was the edges of the book. So while I'm in here, let's see, we'll hit done. And we'll save it. So now I have my scanned document in notes. Now I could go hit the share button. Once I select that image, I can go hit the share button. You can see though that it's sharing this as publications.pdf. Well, that's not quite an image format, so we don't want to save that one. So what I would do here is, now that I have it a pretty faithful image of my book, I'm just going to take a screenshot. So I'm going to use my home button and my power button together. I'll press them both, and then I'll take a screenshot. I'll have to crop this because it's taking a picture of the whole screen. And now I can hit the share button up here in the upper right hand corner, and I can go find the save to files option and save this off to my files as well. We can see it's a PNG image, which is good. That's perfect. So again, we'll call this one live dash HGG. Well, HG. Galaxy, and then we'll call this one back because we already have the front cover. And we'll save that one on the desktop. All right, now I don't need to keep that screenshot. I can delete that screenshot because I've saved it to my files now. So now that we have our two images, the images of our book covers captured. And again, remember the first one we just used the camera app and then cropped it. Used some of the built-in editing tools in the Photos app. Now I can go to Reality Composer and create a new project with that image anchor. So we're going to open up Reality Composer. We can see, I've actually opened up a project. This was remember the floppy disk that we had for our science lab that was using the microscope image. So I'm going to hit the back button to start a new project. I'm going to hit the plus button. It's going to be an image anchor is what we want. And of course our properties come up straight away. Actually, I'll turn this on the side so we get a bit bigger view here. Our properties come up on the side. If they're not there for you, just tap on this little widget in the toolbar. I'm going to choose my image asset. We'll work with the front cover first. So we need to import our image. So we'll hit the plus button to import an image. The really nice thing about using files is that it'll show up in our recents. So I'll pick the front cover. And now that it's in my content library, in fact, while I'm here, I might import my back one as well. So let's hit plus again. I'm going to import the back cover. Cool. So in my content library, I now have both the front and the back cover of my book. So I'm going to tap on this one because we'll start with the front cover. And now I know for sure it's not 64.88 centimeters. Let's try to have a rough guess. I'm terrible, again, like I was saying yesterday, I'm terrible with centimeters, but let's have a rough guess. Here we'll turn on AR so we can show you. We have this handy little measuring tool here in the room. So we're going to say, all right, well, it's slightly bigger than, let's say it's about, there's 10. let's say it's about 15 centimeters wide, not quite that large. So I'm going to turn off AR, and we are going to change this down to 15, around there. And again, I can tap in that width value and change it myself. So about 15. All right, cool. Well, I start off with this hexagonal shape is going to land on my book. Well, let's try it out. Let's see how our image anchor works. So let's flip this around. We're going to turn on AR. I'm going to move my hand so you don't see just my hand. And there we go. We've detected the book cover. It's looking good. If I flip this over, we'll see that we don't have anything to drop our hexagonal shape on just yet. Flip it over again. Our hexagonal shape snaps right to our book. And in this mode, because I don't have the play button pressed, I can still edit where this shows up and how it's going to be placed. This is really nice, being able to see this in real time and edit how you want your scene to play out, especially as it's going to change when we pick up something like a book. It's going to change and move with us. All right, so I'm going to turn off AR for a second. And before I go any further, I'm going to go out and change this. So my new Project 13 isn't super helpful to me. So I'm actually going to call this, well, for me, since I'm doing, it's almost like a book report. So we'll do a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Don't have to shout the whole time. Demo. We'll say done. So this is our Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy demo. Cool. All right. So so that's it. We're done. We've created an AR scene on our book cover, and we can send this project off to our friends, which we'll do in a little bit, and let them run it on their own device. So if they happen to have the same book cover, or you share an image with them, it's a great way to let someone else run this on their own iPad or their own phone as well. We'll get to that in a second, though. All right, so maybe this isn't a great AR experience yet, though. I want to make it a little bit more relevant to my book. So I'm actually gonna tap on this hexagonal shape, and I'm gonna delete it. So there are a few things we could do here. We could create one of the big catchphrases, as we saw from the back of the book, is "Don't panic" from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So if I were building a report or trying to add some extra kind of fun information to this book, if someone saw it in a bookshop or something, I might add a signpost that says "Don't panic" growing out of the top of the book. So let's go hit the plus button. We're gonna grab this text here, and I'm gonna move it around because I'm in edit mode. I don't have that play button pressed. If I press the play button, we would see how this looks, and I can't grab it anymore. I can just rotate around the scene and see what it looks like. I'm gonna hit the stop button to get out of play mode. So there's my text. I might raise it up a little bit. And I might change the scale. Well, we'll leave the scale at 100. We'll change it a different way. I'm going to change my text so that it's not quite as thick. I'm going to change the font size so it's a little bit smaller. I have some other options down here when my text is selected and my properties inspector is opened up. I can change the text color. I can change the text. That would be good. So maybe let's write a little intro. So if someone doesn't know anything about Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, we'll give them a little sort of intro. Here, we'll say is famously So we'll just say, oops, too fast, too fast. Don't panic is famously written on the front of the guide. There are a couple other settings that we're going to play with here. So we're going to change the font. We'll pick that one. You can pick any number of fonts here, and you get a little mini preview of what they're going to look like. You can also change certain attributes about the font. There's a light one that I happen to like for Helvetica. We can change whether it's left aligned, centered, right aligned. So let's align it. We can set it in the middle of our object or align it to the top. We can turn on and off word wrap. Maybe we want to have it wrapped because otherwise it'll go flying off into space. We can also, to make it easier, so if I play this, so turn on AR, move my hand. Oh, we'll close that down. Turn on AR again. Move our iPad to start. Okay, cool. There we are. If I hit play, that's really hard to read. It's cool that it's flying in space, and then I can see it maybe if I look out the window a little bit. But we can do something to fix that. So let me go hit the stop button. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that text again by tapping on anywhere on the text. And if I go over here to the properties, there's an add background option. So if I tap that switch, now I have the option to give it a background color. So right now it's black. And maybe that works well with white text. Maybe we'll make it a little lighter. Okay, cool. Not bad. If we hit play, let's see what that looks like. Oh yeah, that looks quite a bit better. We can even walk around our text. So that's not bad. Now we might want to add, we captured the back of the book, so we might want to add another scene. So if I go up here and tap on that item, I can add more scenes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually duplicate this one because I have an idea for this. Maybe I'm the author of a book and I want to build an experience that someone can use in a bookshop before they buy my book. So I'm going to go tap and hold on this scene, and I'm going to duplicate it. And this is going to be my starting point for the book. If someone comes to the shop and they're looking to buy my book, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to say "Don't panic" is famously written on the front of the book. I'm actually going to say, I'm going to delete all this text. And this particular book has 5 books in it. So this is the first one here, and we'll just tap here and select all and then delete it. So there are 5 books in here. If we open it up, we'll show you. Super exciting. We have The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, The Restaurant at the End of the Universe, Life, the Universe, and Everything, So Long and Thanks for All the Fish, and Mostly Harmless. And then Young Zaphod Plays It Safe is a short story. So let's stop that AR. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to create a little element for each one of the books. And then maybe you can have a blurb about each chapter or each book in your book. So let's go down and change the text here. So the first one is going to be The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. All right, there we go. We'll fix our spelling mistakes. Now we'll turn off word wrap for this so it does stick out. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this text here. We're going to change our size a bit so it's a bit smaller because we need to show a few of these. And we're actually going to drag it over here so it looks like it's sticking out of the side of the book. And then we also might want to rotate this thing. So let's rotate it 90 degrees on the y-axis. That is not what we want. Let's try 90 degrees on the z-axis. Also not what we want. Let's try it on the x-axis. Okay, that's almost what we want, but now Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is facing down. So let's flip it by using a minus sign. Okay. So there, I'm going to have this sticking out the side. I'm going to actually tap on this item because I want to do that for each one of the books in this particular book. I'm going to tap on it and duplicate it. And I can just drag this down. I'm going to duplicate it again. And again. And one last time, we'll ignore the short story. And now I can go and change the text for each one of those. So we'll delete our text here and we'll add Mostly Harmless because this is the last book. There we go, Mostly Harmless. Okay, cool. We'll drag that over so that it's aligned with the book. The next one is So Long and Thanks for All the Fish. As it slowly deletes. All right, cool. So Long. And not amph. And oh, we just had a crash. Let's try it again. Let's open it up again. We'll open up our Hitchhiker's Guide demo project. We'll check to see if our scenes are there. Okay, cool. Thankfully, our scene was saved, so we'll tap on that. Okay, I'm going to use 2 fingers to drag this over. I'll use 1 finger to rotate it a little bit. So let's change this text here. I'm going to just tap in there and select all and delete it. So we'll do So Long. And we'll just type in that for now. The other one is Life, the Universe, and Everything. So we'll do the same thing, tap in our text, tap again to select all, and then delete it. So Life, the Universe, and Everything. And then the last one is the restaurant. So we'll just call this one the restaurant. Okay, so now that we have our sort of our book pickers, now what we could do is we could duplicate this scene and add information about each one of the items here. So we have, let's see, let's start off with the first one. We're going to tap on that. We want to add a behavior to it. So when someone taps on that item, almost like a website, but in real life, floating around your book, we're going to go up and tap on the behaviors arrow here. So we're going to add a behavior. So hit the plus button. And we're going to create a custom behavior. So remember, that's at the bottom of that list. We're going to rename this behavior. So it's going to call, we're going to call this one book 1. And we'll give it a trigger that's just a tap. So it triggers when objects are tapped, that very first one. And the affected object, it's already set up so that we can choose the affected object for the tap trigger. We're going to tap on this bit of text right here. And now we get to add our action. So I'm going to add an action. And what I think we do is we create a new scene with information about that particular book, book 1. So let's go find change scene there. Well, we haven't built that one yet. So what we'll have to do is we're going to hide this for now, the behaviors. And what we're going to do is have a certain behavior so that when we tap on another icon, we'll add something else to the scene so that when you tap on that, we'll always go back to the very first scene. And the reason why I'm doing this now, instead of creating the scene that we want to navigate to, is that when I duplicate that other scene, it's going to carry that behavior over. So I want to try to set it up now so that I don't have to do it in every single book's scene, individual scene. So let's hit the plus button. We'll use a cylinder maybe. Maybe let's use a sphere. So I'm going to put that one. Well, you know what? Actually, that might be a good spot. We'll put it right on the book. So let's hit the properties button. We'll make it a little bit smaller, maybe about the size of the green guy's head. And in fact, let's change it to green. So we're going to tap on material color over here, and let's pick green. Make it kind of shiny to match. And now what we're going to do is add a behavior for this guy. So we'll hit the behaviors arrow. And we're going to call this, we're going to go add a behavior, custom behavior. And we're going to call this return to the start. So this is the return to start behavior. The trigger for this is going to be a tap. It's going to be on our little green sphere. And then the action we want to have it perform is this change scene 1 here. So now that we've picked that action, we get to choose our scene that we want to change to. So we're going to change back to this scene 1 here. Now this is going to be a very, very exciting if we tap it on this scene, because this is the first scene. But now that we have it set up, now we get to create our other scene. So let's go up to the scenes navigator here, and we are going to tap on this scene 1. And we're going to press and hold on it. And we're going to duplicate it. And then you know what? We're going to do it a couple more times because we'll have all of our scenes for all the books. So scene 2. And in fact, let's go here. Now the way to rename a scene is to go up to this properties button when we're on a scene. And we can call this book 1, because this will be the one where we display some information about the first book. Tap on scene 3. We're going to call this book 2. We'll tap on scene 4 and we'll call this one book 3. And we keep doing that for all of our different books. But we'll kind of keep moving here. So now scene 1, when we tap on this item here, we already have that behavior nearly fully defined. We're going to go to book 1 scene. Now that we've created it, we can go up to the behaviors item. Tap on our book 1 behavior, which has got a little triangle because it's not fully hooked up. And it's our action that's not hooked up because there's the warning triangle there. We're going to choose our scene. And we're going to pick book 1. You can see there's the other return to start behavior there as well. So now I'm going to tap on the behaviors item in the toolbar. So now this is, I'm actually working in, let's tap on the properties. I'm actually working in scene, I want to work in book 1 scene. So let's tap on this one. Now when I'm in here, I want to get rid of these other things, these elements. I don't want to be able to navigate to the other one. So we'll delete that. We'll tap on so long, tap on it twice, delete that, tap on that one, delete it, tap on this one, and delete it. And what we might do is we might change where this shows up. We might change the rotation so it's standing up. And then maybe we'll have some more text here to explain what this is all about. All right, so we'll say, just quickly, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is the first book in Douglas Adams' badly named trilogy. Badly named because there are 5 books in the trilogy. We'll turn on word wrap so it looks a little bit more like a book report thing, or maybe a bit of info about our book. Maybe we'll change our font size so it's a bit bigger, change the thickness. And let's try playing this out. So here's my scene. I'll close the book so that we can see the cover. We'll turn on AR. Move my hand again. And I'll move around so I can detect the book cover. There we go. We're going to hit the play button so we can actually experience it like you would for real. So there's my little globe over there. There's my menu. I'm going to tap on the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And we've transitioned to our next scene. So we have our text. Maybe we need to move that text up so we can actually read all of it and it's not obscured by the book. And if I tap on the green globe, I'll go back to the beginning and I can go look and navigate through more pages in my AR scene. Now this is all very cool because this is happening in Reality Composer. But you can also share these with your friends. So if your friend has the same book cover as you have at home, or the same image of whatever you're using as your image anchor, what you can do is you can actually export this scene by going up here to the 3 dots. And we're going to choose export. Now we can either export the project or the current scene. So I'm going to actually export the project. And it's going to give me an option. It's going to save it as a reality file. So I'm going to save to files. So it's going to change it from an RC project file over to a reality file. And once it's done exporting it, it's going to give me an option to save this file somewhere. Any second now. It's going to give me a chance. Maybe not. We'll hit cancel. Let's try that again. We'll hit save to files. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to save it on iCloud Drive. We'll save it on the desktop like we've been doing. We'll hit save. Now I could also email this to somebody or text it to somebody. And as you have more items in your scenes, it's going to take a little bit longer to save just because it's a larger file. Hopefully not this long. And what you want to make sure you do, once you've exported your reality file, you want to make sure, now in our case here, we didn't. Our very first scene is just the text about the book. It doesn't have any of the navigation elements. You probably want to include those navigation elements in your very first scene so that when you give it to somebody, they can navigate through your entire reality project. Otherwise, you could just export individual scenes as you're going. All right, let's try canceling this. Let's try just saving it locally so we can show you what it's going to look like. So I'm going to choose the export option again. I'm going to save to files again. Okay, it's going to give me a choice places to save it in. Or not. Here, let's try that again. We're going to cancel and then try again. This is what happens when you name a file demo, because demos never go well. There's usually something that goes wrong. Here, we'll try quitting Reality Composer and starting again. All right, so let's try exporting this one last time. We'll hit export. We'll export that project. We're going to save it to files. The nice thing is you've gotten to see this workflow a few times now. We'll save it to the desktop. We'll replace the existing one. Excellent. So now what I'm going to show you is what happens when someone opens up that file. So I'm going to open up the files application. It's down here for me. So I have, this is my .rc project, and here's my reality project. So if I open that up, just by tapping on it, I have a slightly different interface than Reality Composer, but still similar. I've got this AR option up here. I've got a little tab bar up here. I can pick the object view, so I can just see what objects are inside the reality file. But the most interesting piece is AR, so I can actually turn it on, move my fingers out of the way. And there, now that I've found the book, we've attached this text to the front of my book. And you can do that with any of the reality files we've created so far. You can export them as a reality file and send them around to your friends and have them check it out and try to build, try to run the experience in their own living room. Like the guys downstairs have been working on a lot of domino-based reality projects. It's worth exporting them and sending them around and having other people try them out in the comfort of their own home. So that's our Reality Composer demo. The plan for next week is maybe a little ambitious because it would require a bit of work in Xcode. I was going to make you guys a kind of daily profit simulator where you would have a picture. You'd go and find a picture like now you'd find a book cover and be able to play a video over the top of that book cover. To do that, you need to move out of Reality Composer and into Xcode. So maybe that's a little bit ambitious. So what we'll do is we'll probably play a little bit with Reality Composer at the beginning of the week and then go back to something like flashy photos in Swift Playgrounds and go back to our Swift programming. So that's the plan for next week. I hope you guys had a lot of fun with the image anchor stuff. I hope you keep playing with it. I think it's an amazing technology. Reality Composer on the Mac and on the iPad and on the phone is just out of this world, and it lets you create some amazing things. So feel free to send in some of your creations, especially if you export them as reality files live at thecodehub.ie. We'd love to see your work, and we'll see you next week.